Now from the news team that's covering the Carolinas, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News Saturday morning.
A man in the custody of the sheriff's office is now dead. What our investigation uncovered about the days leading to his death and the serious concern it is now raising. Plus, a sharpshooter took out a man accused of holding employees hostage inside this grocery store. The next steps in the investigation and the help those employees are now getting. Taking a live look at uptown Charlotte this morning, it is a warm start to your Saturday. We're tracking just how warm it will get today and when rain returns. It always does. Good morning. I'm Elsa Gillis.
And I'm meteorologist Jacqueline Shearer.
It's never too far away, right? But
it
this weekend.
Is. You know what? We have a perfect weekend on tap. We're really going to see some beautiful temperatures, but it doesn't last long because that heat returns. And again, that rain returns by about Monday. So by the time that work week starts. Here's a look at early warning Doppler 9. We're looking at a clear image this morning. Those showers that we were tracking about an hour ago, they're pretty much clear at this point and almost an entirely clear radar sweep. Here's a look at temperatures right now. 73 degrees in Charlotte, 71 in Gastonia, 70 in Rock Hill as you kick off your Saturday morning, and it will be just a beautiful, perfect weekend. Here's a look at the first half of that weekend. 89 degrees for your Saturday, so similar to yesterday, and just like that, we're also right on par with where we should be for this time of year. We're right at our average high, and we're staying dry this weekend. Those shower chances, though, they're not far away. I'll tell you more about them coming up in just a few minutes.
A man in the Mecklenburg County Jail is dead after he jumped from the second floor. Channel 9 dug through police reports in the days leading up to Jerome Thompson's death and found some troubling information. Reporter Deshaun Brown took those concerns to the sheriff and sheriff-elect.
After reading through these arrest warrants, it states that there was a suicide call for Thompson just days before he was arrested. Court documents lay out a timeline of the critical moments before this man's recent death. Thursday, a county inmate named Jerome Thompson died after the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office said he jumped from the jail's second floor. His arrest warrant says Thompson was living in a motel but was thrown out. Later that night, police were called to a local animal hospital about a black male named Jerome who had just dropped off his cat and said he was going to kill himself. The man also said his wife had just died and everything was falling apart. Police never found him. Not even 30 minutes later, the warrant says Thompson went back to that motel and shot the motel clerk who just banned him. 2 days later, police arrested Thompson. The sheriff's office said he jumped that same day. Thompson is now the third inmate death in the last 2 weeks and the fourth this year.
I have a lot of concerns about it.
Sheriff-elect Gary McFadden said he's hearing concerns from the community over the recent inmate deaths, which includes Thompson's family.
And I told him I would try to look into it, but then we stopped after the sheriff's office did contact the family and they did talk to the medical examiner's office.
I also requested an interview with the current Sheriff Erwin Carmichael and said his office sent me a statement outlining the extensive mental health training for staff and also that they have prevented 27 suicides from last year. But the sheriff's office did not respond to my request when I asked if staff there knew about that suicide call and also if there was any additional surveillance for Thompson. Reporting outside of the Mecklenburg County Jail, Deshaun Brown, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Channel 9 has told you about issues within the jail, including a shortage of staff. Officials told us they're having a hard time recruiting detention officers and deputies. While they say there is no safety issue, the jail does have to use overtime to cover the gaps. The Rowan County District Attorney will determine valid use of force after police shot a man they say was holding people hostage trying to rob a grocery store. We first told you about the shooting at the Salisbury Harris Teeter yesterday morning. A police sharpshooter is being hailed a hero after firing a single shot that saved the 5 hostages involved. Investigators say Cody Schimmels walked into the store with a gun and wanted to get into the store safe.
He was pointing a weapon at one of the hostages when the shot was taken.
The suspect is still in critical condition at a Winston-Salem hospital this morning. Trauma teams are working with 4 employees and the spouse of an employee who were freed after being held hostage for about 30 minutes.
I can't imagine how traumatic this was, and I'm sure the experience will leave them with scars for many years to come. My prayers are certainly with those victims.
The SBI is now reviewing surveillance and police body camera video. Overnight, we checked and a woman is still in jail accused of attacking an officer with a bottle. Deputies say Sunday night, Yvonne Fuller was taking items out of cabinets and threatening to kill everyone at the Iredell Memorial Hospital. Deputies say she then cut an officer's hand with a bottle. She is charged with injuring an officer, disorderly conduct, and making threats. She'll face a judge later this month. Charlotte fire officials are still trying to figure out what caused this massive fire in the Carowinds parking lot. You'll remember this scene from Chopper 9 Sky Zoom a few weeks ago when about a dozen cars caught fire. Officials say a 2003 Ford Taurus was the first vehicle to catch fire. They now say a recall related to that model did not cause the fire. Another scandal for Wells Fargo. This time the company says it overcharged customers. Wells Fargo is setting aside nearly $300 million for refunds. That's after a third party investigated the bank's foreign exchange business. The investigation showed Charlotte's largest banking employer gave inconsistent pricing and incorrect fees to customers. Now, we've told you the bank has faced numerous issues over the last few years. It already paid customers rebates for opening fake accounts in their name, forcing them to get car insurance and charging them mortgage fees they didn't deserve. A Huntersville doctor is accused of illegally buying and selling prescription painkillers. South Carolina investigators say Dr. Brian Leak illegally bought oxycodone from 3 different CVS pharmacies in York County in February and March. They say he admitted to then selling those painkillers for cash. Leak turned himself in yesterday morning. His attorney told Channel 9 he knows the case is serious.
He's very concerned about this. We've been working together to get a defense mounted.
This is not the first time Dr. Leak has faced drug problems. State documents show he had voluntarily surrendered his license in Ohio 12 years ago because of a history of chemical dependency. North Carolina granted him a license 3 years later after he agreed to undergo random drug testing. Today, 16 service members will be honored a year after they were killed in a fiery plane crash in Mississippi. The plane spiraled into a field last July, not long after it left Cherry Point, North Carolina. Debris from the crash stretched 5 miles. 6 of the Marines on board the plane were based in Camp Lejeune and were part of the Marines Elite Raider Unit. It's similar to the Navy SEALs. Today, more than 200 family and friends of the victims will gather to honor the service members. They'll attend a monument dedication ceremony. 30 of them will then begin a 900-mile relay to Camp Lejeune to continue honoring those killed. We have new developments in the Papa John's controversy. The founder, John Schnattner, is now accusing the company's marketing agency of trying to blackmail him. You'll remember he resigned after he used a racial slur during a company call earlier this year.
They wanted $6 million to make it go away. Like, I'm paying you $6 million. And, they made it pretty clear that if the words were, if I don't get my money, I'm going to bury the founder. This is said to one of the executives.
Schnatter also received backlash during the football season when he blamed slumping sales on the NFL's kneeling controversy. A controversial coin flip. Police pulled over a driver for speeding and decided to let a coin flip determine her fate.
What's that? A head or tail.
This happened in Roswell, Georgia, which is just north of Atlanta. In the patrol car, the video shows Officer Courtney Brown and her partner discussing that they didn't record Sarah Webb's speed. They then used a coin flip app to decide her fate. Heads for arresting her, tails for releasing her.
This is tail, right?
Yeah, so really
23.
So I got too fast for, let me write this down.
Too fast for conditions.
Is it reckless?
Yeah, you can do reckless.
The officers then arrested Webb and took her to jail. The Roswell police chief is calling this all appalling. All of the charges against Webb have since been dropped. Both officers involved are on administrative leave during an internal affairs investigation. A family in Anson County will get a bill of nearly $500 from the county because it mishandled their loved one's estate. That is according to the state's recent audit of the Anson County Clerk of Superior Court. The state reviewed 52 finalized estates in the county. In some cases, auditors found county officials either did not collect enough money or collected too much. The state also found more than half of the circuit court employees had inappropriate access to financial records and court records. Auditors say the county has a higher risk of errors and fraud. The county says it will make changes according to the state's recommendations. Families will be contacted if their estates were mishandled. Today, first responders will bike the final miles as part of the Carolina Brotherhood Ride. Every year, it honors those killed in the line of duty. This year, they're honoring those lost in 2016, including 13 firefighters and 4 officers. Among them, Pineville firefighter Richard Sheltra, who died fighting a fire at a golf store in Pineville, and Bradley Long, who died when his air tank ran out while diving for a rescue operation on Lake Norman. The ride will end in Pineville this afternoon. It is 7:09 now. If you plan to drive through Charlotte today, you'll likely run into several construction projects. Traffic Team 9's Mark Taylor breaks down those closures and how to get around them.
Monitoring multiple projects this weekend, closing roadways, including part of the toll lane construction that had closed the ramp from LaSalle to 77. That's going to reopen Monday morning. But before they can, last night they completely closed 77 in both directions, and that's going to last until early Monday morning. Now, after that, they will open the ramp from LaSalle to 77 North, which has been closed since April of last year. So, during the weekend, though, you're going to have to use an alternate route because you cannot access 77 from LaSalle. You're going to either have to use Beatty's Ford or Statesville Avenue as an alternate route. Then we've got Pearl Parkway closed heading east between Kenilworth and South Kings Drive. That's going to last for a couple of weeks, using Charlottetown over to South Kings Drive as the alternate route around it.
A live look outside right now from our Speedway cam on this Saturday morning. The time is 7:11. Meteorologist Jacqueline Shearer has an update on your really nice summer forecast from Severe Weather Center 9.
You know what? It is looking like a perfect summer weekend. We're seeing some cooler temperatures, low humidity, and those shower chances very low. Here's a look at your day part forecast for the morning. 8 a.m. We're looking at the mid 70s, hitting the 80s by 10 a.m. As we move through the weekend, these conditions stick around. We're not changing too much. Those rain chances staying very low over the next few days, but there are just a few areas that could see a rain chance today. I'm tracking those showers. I'll have that coming up for you in just a minute.
A police captain fired in part because of a case involving this viral video. It shows an officer beating a man accused of jaywalking. New at 7:45, the other serious allegations that cost the captain his job. A city council member says she will vote against the RNC coming to Charlotte. At 7:30, why others are calling her reasons unfounded and the fight over using taxpayer money. But first, a dangerous police chase caught on camera. The risky moves the suspect made in hopes of escaping officers.